Hello everyone and welcome to Comment Below, a podcast where we talk about the news and topics of the week, but more importantly, what has been commented below. We delve into the mess that is our social media, finding the stories that you may or may not be talking about. Isn't that right, Ben?
That is correct, Alex. And social media stories which you are talking about this week is something that we posted a few episodes ago about Audi etiquette.
Oh, right. Go on. Carry on.
So we posted that a few episodes ago in case you guys missed it, because you never know who's popping in, popping out on this show. We discussed Audi etiquette of waiting in queue, whether you should be allowed to go past someone who has lots of items where you only have a few. So we've got comments online on our social media about the Audi product. So E. Maury said, I've never seen a line at the US Audi. Never seen a line.
Oh yeah, they're branching into the States, aren't they? Well, they probably already have, obviously.
Maybe are they not popular, or who knows?
I mean, do they have self-checkouts in America? I don't know if that's a thing in America.
No, they've got bag boys, aren't they?
Is that still a thing also? That reminds me of like 70s, 80s films where like the teenagers the down and out kind of.
They did try to do that once in Tesco for like a bit. So when I worked, I remember there was like a week where we had people stood on the end of the till packing.
I'd be great at that job. I would be great.
So would I.
No, oh my God, no, you wouldn't. When we go shopping and we start packing the bags, your bags are like shaped like a bulbous elephant. Mine are shaped like a nice tall giraffe because I pack them by logic. So they come out, it's like Tetris. So they come out in a nice row in the bag. When you lift it, nothing spills over. Yours, you literally have to lift it up and the bag splits. You put it down in the boot of the car. Everything falls out the back of it. Your packing genuinely gives me rickets. It genuinely frightens me.
Well, Saskia says, whatever supermarket I'm in, if there's someone that only has a few items, I let them go in front of me. So Saskia's nice.
I must say,
British.
Saskia's right also. It's not just Audi where that applies. I think that, again, if it's not a self-checkout, there's been a few occasions where I've been in a Tesco or a Sainsbury's or something like that, and they've done the same thing. Someone in front has said, oh, you only got two things, but it's more common. It seemingly feels more common in an Audi and
I've never seen it in another store. Have you seen it in a Waitrose before?
Oh, definitely not a Waitrose. Naughty gits. Then Waitrose. Waitrose is overpriced for the things you get. Like M&S can be a little bit expensive. Have I discussed this already on the show? I feel like I have. I feel like I'm having deja vu.
Don't repeat yourself.
But M&S is very good quality food. You pay for that little extra quality. Waitrose, I don't think is worth the extra £1 for what you get. Waitrose doesn't taste any better. I've never got why people always say, oh, yes, Waitrose is much finer quality. Never got it. And remember where we used to live? We found out that a load of people, because an area we lived in was quite snotty, and they would buy like Audi or little tea bags, and then because they didn't want their guests to think that, oh, God forbid, they went to any other supermarket bar or Waitrose, they would then put the tea bag in the Waitrose box. It's so sad. It's so big. But so British as well. Let us know if you know people who do the same thing as that as well.
There's one as well for our international listeners out there.
Hi.
Tessa is in Spain.
Espanol.
It's totally normal here in every single supermarket to let people in front of you if they just have a few items. I find it odd, but also rather wonderful. I didn't realise that there was also an Audi thing in the UK. So there's every supermarket in Spain. You do this. Because they're nice and polite there.
That's because the Spanish have the nice weather. In England, we're angry. We got nothing better to do.
And they also said that they don't have a packing area in their Audis. They've never heard of that before.
Well, so they pack as they go through the checkout. Well, they had that when we went to Malta, remember? There was loads of lids in Malta, and they were all packing. And you and I were getting a bit wound up. We were like, they should be packing at the end. And it was like, well, no, that's not the logic here. It's different. It's just...
So, there you go. So that's a bit of an update for everyone on our Audi etiquette.
Yes, thank you.
Viral moment.
Thank you for everyone who got in touch. You can also get in touch. And like I say, let us know more of your supermarket. There's always, I think everyone hoards. It's like they say everyone's got a book in them. Everyone has a story about something in a supermarket. I think supermarket
That could be a book.
Send us your ideas so I can plagiarise them and make them into a book and make money. Go to X or Twitter at Comment Below, Instagram at commentbelow_pod, or you can directly email them to us, commentbelowpod@gmail.com. Of course, if you enjoy listening or watching the show, you can throw us a bit of change our way by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. I almost forgot. If you're listening, don't forget to give us 5 stars and comment below for why you enjoy listening to the show. And as I said, you can watch this as a video podcast as well on our YouTube channel. Just search Comment Below Pod or BAM Productions. And you'll also find our other podcast, Faithful to the Traitors, which is very faithful to a reality TV show that we know and love, known as The Traitors as well. Yes. And also, as I say, if you are watching us, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, follow, and click on the notification so you always get updates when we've got new episodes coming out, which is every week. And comment below.
You mentioned X there. Have you noticed? People keep in articles it was formerly known Twitter, now known. I've now seen that they say the platform known as X is how they say it.
Fair.
So they don't just say X, it's the platform known as X.
Does Elon Musk know how much he's destroyed, like a well-known term, like Twitter?
That's what journalism is at the moment. That's what they're saying on the news.
That's what journalism is.
That's what they're saying officially. It's the platform known as X.
Should I say
quite
that
old
now?
mouthful? Maybe.
So if you want to get in touch
you
with us
updated
on the platform now known as X, go to @CommentBelowPod.
It's breaking news. It's fast happening.
It certainly is. We said it's like a lot of people say it's like Prince is changing his name, wasn't it? It's the artist formerly known as Prince. It's a social media site formerly known as Twitter.
Similar but different. Right. So what we got this
week?
Well,
we're going to start off then with something political, which we always try to kind of weave around. But this is kind of like discussing something that is quite important in the UK. And then we've got a couple of stories which about celebrity-based, one of them for a reality TV show that's coming back, which comes back every year as well. But we're starting off then with the King's Speech. Now, this is a very British thing.
That's a film.
It's also a film.
Mm-hmm.
But it's quite similar to the thing. I think it's actually based on the King giving his speech to Parliament. So basically what in the UK, if you don't live in the UK, if you do... is what we do for some bizarre reason is that because we have a monarch, they have to dictate what our parliament, our government is going to do for the year ahead.
Our unelected government.
Our unelected parliament.
Prime Minister.
And unelected royalty as well. So and at the moment we're being run by fools, I tell you. There's basically they lay out the groundwork for what as in this case the Tories, the Conservative Party want to do. Rishi Sunak wants to do. He passes it on to the King, and then the King reads it out. The King has no involvement whatsoever with the policies. He doesn't choose to. These aren't his decisions.
He just has to read them.
But he just has to read them. Hence why it's called the King's Speech. Just draconian, ridiculous. Why we're doing it, God only knows, but we are. But the important thing is that there's some policies that weren't on there, which a lot of people thought they would be, because these are things that the Conservative Party have been discussing quite often a lot recently.
I saw a graph on X, the platform
formerly known as X, out of Twitter.
Formerly. The platform known as X. I saw a graph, which I think this is like the least amount of new laws the government is trying to do in like 13, 15 years. It's like really low, the amount of things on there. So there's lots of things missing.
He's playing it soft ball because he knows that there's an election coming next year, or at the very latest the beginning of 2025, and so I think he's just doing all the ones that are going to get all the very, very Tory voters voting his way, because he's even losing those now, like a lot of Tories.
It's Suella Braverman's fault, isn't it? She's been horrible the past few weeks.
Well, she's very right wing of the party though, isn't she?
No one likes her, but anyway, carry on with the King.
Well, I was on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and I saw a few people saying that, oh no, she's right in what she's saying.
You can't go by what people on Twitter say, trust me.
Formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, Suella Braverman, let's just say quickly, Suella Braverman, who literally was made by the bread of the devil, if you ever seen the episode Sabrina. She was made from devil bread. She said that homeless people were homeless because it's a life choice, and that they choose to just sleep on the street.
Lifestyle choice, yeah.
Because we all do in the UK when the weather is like -2 degrees in the middle of the night. That's lifestyle choice, Ben. Why wouldn't you?
She's just disgusting. So what things?
So things that notably weren't on the King's Speech, because it'd be boring if we talked about the ones that were. But one of them, which is the most staggering, is that the Tories still won't do the banning of LGBT conversion therapy.
This is the thing that keeps hovering around, which is meant to have passed like ages ago, wasn't it? It's just one of those things that never seems to get. It was
mentioned way back in David Cameron when he was Prime Minister. So that was 11 years ago when the Tories first came in. A majority of people in the Conservative Party actually agree that they should be banned as well.
Yeah, why don't he do it?
But he won't do anything about it. Well, the thing is, again, he's going to his backbenchers, the Suella Bravermans, the really right-wing, extremist, religious flag lovers, and they are kind of all saying that, like, you know, if you introduce this conversion therapy ban, then parents might be in trouble. For the first time, they're actually worrying about teachers. Teachers might say something and they might get in trouble too. And it's like, well, if parents are saying to their gay or trans child that that's what they're saying or believe is wrong, then I'm sorry, but that parent should go to a conversion therapy of some sort. It just feels...
It's just a weird thing that it's still...
A thing.
It's like a really
so many other countries,
old-fashioned like form of therapy which doesn't work. It's like, why is it? It's like, just bring back beheading then. You know what I mean? It's like punishment. It's like a really weird thing. It's like, why is it still? I'm gonna bring back lobotomies. It's like, why is it a thing? Because it's just awful. So I don't understand why it's so difficult for them to just ban it.
And it feels like the easy win for me, because the Conservative Party are really, really, really losing a lot of the LGBT community in their.
Who are?
The Conservative Party.
Well,
There's an LGBT plus Conservative part of their party.
Like I said on episode 2 or 1 or 3 or whatever of this podcast, there's nothing more scary than a gay Tory.
Well, we both said that a gay Tory is not
the worst.
It's the worst Tory you can get. But you should listen and watch back and listen to some of the episodes, because sometimes we do retrospectively look at things. But yeah, no, I'm with. Of course, I agree with you. As a gay man, then I think it's disgusting that if a child has these feelings, which is already scary and confusing and terrifying to have. I felt that way. It was like, why don't I like the girls in my class? Why are the boys getting together? You know, it's weird. It's just my mind messed up. Kids are much more luckier. I hate to use that term, but a bit more. There's more out there for them to see. You know, I'm not saying like the filthy stuff. I'm saying like children's programming. Like
they have the language to know.
They have the language to know. Thank you. I clearly don't. But like children's BBC, we were watching a show, or we saw something that on a children's BBC show.
I've never watched the BBC. Even when I was a child, I didn't watch it. So.
I did. I used to love children's programming. Yeah. And there was a kid who came out as gay in this football team, and like you would never see that 10, 20 years
Didn't
ago.
get that Brentford reject.
You didn't.
I would have liked to.
You did on Biker Grove. Remember that?
Never watched
Biker
it.
Grove.
No, don't watch any of that.
That guy kissed another guy in the cinema, and he said, "What are you doing?" Because he's from Newcastle, isn't it? He went, that got like loads of letters. They show something on Children's BBC now, and they don't. So
because no one watches it.
No, they are watching it. Children's BBC is actually very popular. You just in your mind believe.
So are we saying that Rishi Sunak has?
I've scrapped it.
You're bringing that back.
Well, he has scrapped it because he's not brought it into the King's speech. So I think that's a low blow. I feel like if I was a spin doctor, is that what they're called? People who kind of like spin what the party are doing to the newspapers and stuff like that. I would say to I was saying Rory McGrath then to Rishi Sunak that banning LGBT therapy is not only the right thing to do, but also quite a winning policy. I don't think there's many people out there who disagree with it. Let's be honest. Obviously, the homeless people being banned wasn't put through, so Suella Braverman didn't.
Well, she's upset.
It's a shame, isn't it? Instead, she's demonising the police now for allowing
hate marches.
But they're not hate marches. Don't
I
use
know
that
they're
term.
not. That's what she's saying.
Yep.
Points at me.
Well,
I'm not Suella Braverman.
Well,
she's saying hate marches.
You said it. Don't use that term. If you're using that term, she's winning. She's winning. She's using rhetoric.
I was using her own words.
Well, don't use her own words. Use the words that they are, and that's a peaceful protest.
I know, that's what I say, but she's saying every single person. She was even asked outright, like, do you think every single person on that protest was hateful? She said yes. It's like, well, you're just a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but I don't know if that is what I say this about a lot of people. I said this about Dan Monton. I don't know if they actually truly believe that, or they just think it's a way of rising themselves to power.
Well, either way, that's a
well, she should be saying to do. No, the rhetoric she says is disgusting. Another interesting one is that obviously Rishi Sunak had that big conference about AI legislation.
AI summit.
He
talked about that on the last episode. Everyone,
we did. If you want to find it, go back.
I've got a back catalogue.
He who thinks that AI robot should have had my hat on its head in the picture, by the way, because there was a big discussion between us. I said the AI robot should have had my hat. Anyway, he did that summit thinking he was going to be like the world leader, the world beating in AI. It kind of got taken over by other countries, let's be honest, namely America, who kind of like weave their way and change the conversation toward their direction. So Rishi Sunak lost control of it a bit.
I was going to say, did you see during his little chat with Elon Musk how he said that people should be prepared to open businesses and fail? And but it's like, well, no,
I might agree with him on that one.
No, you won't when I continue.
Yeah, let's go on.
Basically saying, like, he was like, well, you can open a business, start one, and you can fail, and you have to make sure to be okay with losing a monthly income. And it's like, well, not everyone can take that risk, Rishi. If he opens a business, or Elon opens a business, it's not really a risk if it closes down, is it? Where someone who's like living paycheck to paycheck, if they open a business and it collapses, well, that's not a risk you're willing to take, Rishi. So, do you still agree with Rishi?
No, I agree. I agree with sentiment in the sense that you.
Yeah, but if you can,
it's a risk. If you can,
but that's what situation lots of people are in now. They can't even take a risk because it's like no.
Well, yeah, that's because of him,
and there's no help. Yeah, exactly.
But that's him helping up the billionaires by cutting the tax. That was something that was in the King's speech. He wants to raise the bankers' bonuses are now being
and that's a Liz Truss
scrapped.
Trust idea, wasn't it?
So now the richer are going to continue being richer. But do you know the reason why they think he's done that? Because when he eventually loses his premiership, he's already said that he wants to go back into trading, which means that he'll just earn more money. He's a prick. So yeah, AI. There's no AI legislation. I can't even say it at all in his speech. So it's like, well, what was that all about then? That was a waste of everything.
It's like climate change. It's like, well, he's like, oh, we'll worry about it later. And it's like, well, later when AI is doing God, we don't know, we can't predict what it's going to be doing. Lesson learned from our last episode, everyone. So this is true. They should have legislation in early.
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm spending a whale of a time with this mug today. Where they need to control it as much as they can. It's not as good. Sorry, control it again. That makes it sound like we live in a state where like government.
Yeah, they need to make sure it's not gonna. There's so much crap that it can be used for bad, and for good. But it needs to be sort of.
Thing is, they only seem to care if it's bad for them. So if there's like deep fakes of Rishi Sunak saying, I want to suck off Priti Patel and Suella Braverman, then I'm sure the Conservative Party will suddenly take a concern into it. It's not a concern for them right now. It's not hindering them. The same is like the mining for oil in the North Sea. It's not a concern. In fact, that's helping them. That's a win for them. Not necessarily for the vote, but for them personally, their little money pot, their money bin that they delve into like Scrooge McDuck, then that's a win for them. That's interesting, actually, funny enough, about that. I know a lot of people have said about it, but King Charles is an advocate for like environment and this and the other, and he had to say that.
He's not allowed an opinion now, though, is he? Because he's king.
No,
so it's all down to Willie.
So there you go. So there was also about the 20 miles per hour low emission zones, which a lot of people thought would be introduced because Wales had introduced them again. Something out of nothing. Is it a bad thing that we should slow down perhaps more around like built up areas where children could be playing?
They've had 20.
Really, yes.
They've had them like near schools for like years. I remember when they came in, no one cared. What's the difference?
There's a load of Scotland. Yeah. If you go into like a built up area, like a straight stretch of the village, you have to go drive at 20. You have to. It's law. But it's not. I don't know. But so yes.
So yeah.
But that's low emission
pointless stuff because he won't be elected soon anyway. So.
Well, you don't know that. Will this King's speech make him loved by everyone?
No.
As Jonathan Korff said on the social media site formerly known as Twitter, I didn't think we could stoop any lower than Priti Patel.
I know. I used to think that, and then I thought, well, maybe. Then it makes me double think, and I think, well, maybe Priti Patel wasn't that bad because how bad everyone else is. But then she comes up and says something, and I'm like, oh, you are just as much of a idiot than I thought. So
well, I can't wait for the day when you're like talking about something on GB News and you say, I didn't think it'd get any lower than Dan Wootton, but here we are. Dan the Wonton. He's living up here with us at the moment.
He's in hiding, isn't he?
He's in hiding somewhere in Scotland. We need to find him.
He hates Scotland. He hates.
Yeah, even though he hates everything about Scotland and the SNP and everything like that. Oh no, I'll go live in Scotland. He's such a hypocrite.
Of course he is. Right. So the next one, then we're going to go through the report. Is it reported list? Not official, but pretty much always official because the Sun always leaks stuff because they're annoying. So I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here is coming back.
Are you happy about it? I mean, what's this series? What series is this?
I don't know. I mean, I watch it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's... I don't know. Well, we watched it during lockdown because it was like a bit of a fluffy, nice series, wasn't it, during the dark days? And then they Then we watched it last year because they returned back to the old set and stuff like that in Australia.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I won't be watching it this year if this rumoured list is true, but we'll get there in a minute.
This was going to be series 23.
Ooh. So it started in the year 2000.
Should we quickly say also that, because again, if we've got American people listening, I'm a Celebrity is a reality TV show where they put celebrities, I'm using heavy inverted commas here, into a jungle, and they have to do like bush tucker trials, which are like tasks which are
food, basically.
Yeah, which are jungle.
And they live
orientated.
like a rough camp life and
Yeah.
have no beds, and you take these pampered celebrities and
That's the premise. You take these pampered celebrities, you put them into
torture them, basically.
crap hole. Yeah, then we vote to say what kind of things we want them to do, and then they
There is a version in America, isn't there? But it's set in
American.
Do they go to Africa?
I think there's no. I think theirs was in.
Or somewhere.
Actually, you might be right. It might be South Africa. Australia have a version too. And ironically, when we do the UK version, we send ours to a jungle in Australia. Australia send theirs to a jungle somewhere completely different. They don't use the set in Australia.
I thought you were going to say jungle in the UK. I was like, pardon?
Yes, the New
jungle?
Forest, that very famous jungle.
What jungle is this? Right, so the rumoured people then, let's see how many of these we know. Starting at the top is Tony Bello. He's a professional boxer. Ever heard of him before?
I haven't, but I saw that a lot of people were saying on the social site formerly known as Twitter that he's retired from boxing.
2018, he hung his gloves up.
I'd like him to anyway. And he said he wanted to have a reclusive life. He just wanted to spend his life with his family, and now everyone's criticising him for taking the paycheck and doing a reality show.
Yeah,
I think that's a bit unfair because he still might want to earn a little bit.
If we earn loads from boxing, so he doesn't need the money. Maybe he does need the money.
A lot of people say they do own Celebrity, or they used to do Celebrity Big Brother because they couldn't be bothered to. I'm not saying he does pantomime, but Christopher Biggin said, didn't he? He said, I couldn't be bothered to do pantomime this year, so I did this, and that's the same money.
That's true.
So
he's a pundit for sports things, and he's also a bit in films. He's in Creed and Creed 2.
Is he? He's a good-looking chap. I'm not going to lie.
Right. Well, you must have saved his face when he was boxing. He must be a good boxer.
This next one's the one that I really wanted to hear.
Right.
Really? This is going to be amazing.
Jamie Lynn Spears.
After her sister's autobiography, could be an interesting one.
Jamie Lynn Spears is a bitch.
Well,
Quote unquote Britney Spears. Sorry. She's a total bitch, is what she says in her autobiography.
Well, again, I've seen a lot of people talking about on the social media site formerly known as Twitter that they don't like Jamie Lynn Spears.
No one likes her. She's horrible.
I didn't realise she was that bad. Who was she? Zoe 101?
Yes.
And she was while she was recording it, didn't she? So
yeah, then it got cancelled. But they recently did a film, Zoe 102. Did you not know?
Wow.
She was profiting heavily off of Britney Spears' conservatorship the whole time. So obviously... because her dad was in charge of all the money, and she was having money sent to her through.
So he was taking the money, giving it to Lynn.
Yes,
Jamie.
And the mum as well. It's all in the autobiography. You should read it.
I will read it. Eventually.
But obviously that's been cut off now because she's now pretty much out of conservatorship. Because she was literally last week she was voted out of Dancing with the Stars.
Was she?
Yes.
I didn't even know the series of Dancing with the Stars in America.
She's obviously desperate for money. So I don't want to see Jamie Lynn Spears. That's already one thing that I don't want to see because she's not talented.
Fair enough. But this next one is the one this is genuinely the reason why I will not be watching this year's I'm a Celebrity. It's true.
Nigel
Farage.
Or is he getting rumoured to be getting £1 million? So what bank's it going to go to? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Why?
It'll probably be news for like a week that he'll be...
And why? What is he going to offer? Nothing. And all he's going to use it is as a...
He'll use it as a platform to be a horrible hate speech dickhead. And this is what annoys me. ITV are allowing him to do that.
Well, they did this last year with Matt Hancock. Yeah, people were annoyed.
Matt Hancock wasn't in government. Oh, no, he wasn't he? That's what pissed people off. Nigel Farage, you could argue that Nigel Farage isn't in government.
Yeah, he's a bellend and a hate spreader.
He's never been voted once into Parliament.
I know.
But yet we show so much emphasis in this one person's opinion.
I know.
Just fucking disgusting.
Every time I see him, and this is very personal, sorry, but I don't care because Nigel Farage, but I just know that he smells of like cigars out of his mouth. Do you know what I mean?
Cigars and like stale beer.
Yeah, just disgusting. Oh, Nick Pickard, gosh. The longest running Hollyoaks actor. Plays Tony in Hollyoaks.
When did we delve? Because we delve into Hollyoaks now and then. What was this happening to him? Oh, it was that woman who stuck knitting needles into it.
Yeah, she kidnapped him. Yeah,
who was that? I loved her. She was a great character.
Can't remember her name. Was it Vera or something like that?
She was like had that farm, and when she was a little girl, she was like bullied by her mum and dad or something.
Yeah.
So she took him to the farm and like didn't. It was really clever. Actually, the one time I said, actually, Hollyoaks, kudos to you. Hollyoaks has its moments. Some of them are good, some of them are very bad. They killed, in very comments, they killed him off. Remember? And they even did a big publicity thing about it.
the
Like,
behind the
longest running
scenes,
story, longest running characters killed off. They even took him out the credit sequence because in if you ever watched Hollyoaks, in the intro sequence, every character is in it with like them kind of dancing around.
And when they die, they disappear from it. They're like edited out weirdly.
Edited out. Really, really weird. And they edited him out of it, and we were all like, "Oh my god, they've actually killed the character!" And then about a month later,
he's kidnapped in the farm.
He was in the farm. It was clever, I have to say. It was one of their cleverer moments.
Josie Gibson.
That was meant to be West Country. She's already done reality shows. She did Big Brother.
That's how she became famous. Yeah, she did the last series of Big Brother on Channel 4. She was the last winner, wasn't she?
Oh yeah, that's right. She did the last series, and then they did Ultimate
back
Big
in.
Brother, and she went straight back in. Yeah,
And then won it because she just won. No, she didn't win it. Brian won it, didn't he? But she came like second. She was really popular. But yeah, she's been presenting this morning and stuff. So
we must.
she's not going to be able to present this morning now for 2 weeks.
That's okay. That was the last series of Big Brother on Channel 4.
That's what I said.
Oh, did you? I beg your pardon. Because it's now on ITV.
Yeah.
But
Then
before then,
Channel
it was on
5.
Channel 5. God. It's got
I don't know how to say his surname. Fred, the waiter from that like
I think
dating
he's
show.
more known for that as well. First Dates. He's the
First
maitre
Dates,
d'.
yeah.
He's the maitre d' from First Dates.
He does a show with like
Gordon
Ramsay, doesn't he? Someone else.
Gino Donioli.
Yeah.
Gino, I'm a
I hate all
crap Donioli.
Well, apparently he's a very interesting man. I just don't like him for no reason, for anything, because I've never seen him in anything. But apparently he's a very interesting man, I've heard. So that'll be fun to share.
He's done other things too.
Maybe he hates Nigel. I'm spotting to see who will hate Nigel Farage and speak
Apparently
up so
that
far.
Foxer might have a thing to say about him. Again, I found that out on for him.
Who's he? Frankie Dettori.
He's a jockey. He's a horse jockey.
No idea who that is. I'm not excited about him. Nella Rose. Don't know who she is.
Hang on,
Who's she?
find out. She's a TikTok. She's got millions
TikTok,
of TikTok
YouTuber,
followers.
Instagram. The young crowd.
She had previously hosted Catfish UK on MTV.
Good.
To be fair, it's people like her, like Nella Rose, who kind of hasn't got anything to lose, who might be the ones who
Yeah, you might as well just do it.
call Nigel out. I'm just looking for people who basically call him out.
Danielle Harold from EastEnders. Lola.
Yes, poor Lola. She got not killed. She died of cancer in EastEnders.
Won lots of awards. Now she's off.
Well, she needs to make her money.
Yeah, might as well. I don't blame her for doing that. You're not allowed to do stuff like that. So
Not when you're doing.
So you might as well.
You're under a commitment at the time. There are loads of people who were formerly on EastEnders do that, but then they normally come back afterwards as well. Janine did it.
Natalie Cassidy.
That's no
Big Mo
as well. Big Mo did it. Yeah.
Sam Thompson. I thought he'd already done it.
I don't know who he is.
We saw him on the reality show
Chelsea,
somewhere.
is it?
I think he did the Celebrity Circle, didn't he? I have a feeling he did the Celebrity Circle with his friend, and we watched. That's how I know him.
His girlfriend is Zara McDermott, who's just been booted off Strictly Come Dancing. So that's something he can talk to Jamie Lee about.
Jamie here, Britney Spears.
Marvin Hughes.
I mean, he looks nice naked, so there you go.
Does he? Have you looked at it?
I know
specifically looked at it.
I don't know him. As in, I've seen him in something. I don't know why, but I know that he's always naked all the time.
Good.
Marvin Humes. Oh yes,
That
from JLS.
surprises me, doesn't it? You?
He's a bit straight laced, isn't he? He's a bit.
Really surprises me, that one. Really surprises
He reminds me of Matt, who used to do the One Show. Matt
Matt. Oh, Matt.
from Blue Peter.
Criminy. Criminy. I know exactly who you're
Matt
talking
Baker.
about. Matt Baker.
He's a bit like him. A bit like, a safe pair of hands. I feel a bit boring. Grace Dent. I like her. She's funny. She might yell at Nigel.
She will. You most definitely will. She's very opinionated. I love Grace Dent. I love her podcast when she talks to celebrities whilst they eat. I don't like the fact that you hear them going throughout the podcast because do you not hate hearing people eating audibly? I don't like watching people eat on TV either. You know when they do like TV shows and they're judging people's foods and you see them open their mouth really wide
I know.
and they stick their tongue out and put their food in it. I hate watching that.
So where's she? She's a food critic, MasterChef
But she's
judge.
not a food critic. She's a TV critic for The Guardian as well. She does TV and food, which is the perfect
Not a
job.
fan of I'm a Celebrity.
Which is
apparently.
what's ironic about it. She's actually said that she would never do something like that, and yet she's
Boy
doing
George said that, and then he did it last year, didn't he?
it. Yeah.
Was that it?
That's all the ones that's been kind of, I think I want to say confirmed, but there's a few others that kind of been unconfirmed.
Well, I won't be watching it, so there you go.
The thing is, Grace Dent, if she does it, then I would want to watch it. It's annoying.
I do know most of them, apart from the white men. They're the ones I don't know.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So there you go.
So but I think we say we won't watch it, but it's going to be one of those things where we'll say we won't watch it, and then
I really hate Nigel Farage. I don't think he should be given this platform to.
I agree.
Because all he'll do is get voted off, and then he'll go on to like GB News and start slagging ITV off, and it'll just do my head in.
Of course he will.
Do my head in.
And he'll still make really stupid claims, like he's like the most popular pundit in the Western Hemisphere or something stupid like that, because that's what he likes to do.
So Bluebird Lockie said, I didn't watch last year with Hancock. Won't watch this year with Farage. So not the audience we want there. And Nature Bookish said, Nigel, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about at all. Farage, no thanks. So, yeah. Everyone hates Nigel Farage. They always put him in. This is a waste of money. Plus, it's the fact that they're giving him £1 million is just like so annoying to me.
That's the biggest contention. But then it's it's not like it's a channel that we pay for. ITV is an advertiser. Although
I know, but it's just the fact that giving him £1 million is just like.
But ITV see it as a coup. They see it as like a pulling.
Maybe he can invest it back into GB News.
Well, but what I would argue is instead of trying to get celebrities who they think are going to bring an audience in, why don't you make the format one that people are a bit more interested in watching? Because a lot of people are saying it's a very tired format. So update the format. Anyway, last thing then is that Nestle are discontinuing Karamak bars. Now, I had, before I changed my diet, I used to eat Karamak bars.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Oh, they're lush.
I recognise
those
them.
Cadbury caramel bar, not caramel, they're those new Cadbury's, what are they called? I want to call them caramels as well. But it's basically, instead of cocoa chocolate, it's chocolate made from caramel. So it's caramel chocolate. It's like white chocolate with caramel. They were delicious.
But they're getting rid of them.
They're getting rid of them because no one's buying them anymore.
You know what this is? Well, I'm going to have a theory here.
Go on.
That companies do this stuff on purpose.
To increase sales, and then...
It's like free advertising on all the news. Do you know what I mean? Like they say, guess what? We're going to get rid of your chocolate bar. And it's like all the boomers are like, no, I like it back in my... Because I saw a clip and one of them was like, oh, it reminds me of my childhood. And it's like, oh, so you're going to go out, buy lots. There's a big uproar. Don't cancel my chocolate. And then in a few months' time, they'll say, we're bringing back Karamak, and then the sales will go up.
But the thing is
that's my theory.
The sales aren't going up anyway. I get where you're coming from there. They have discontinued other
publicity
bars
stunt
in the past, like Mars Delight bars with.
Yeah, but no one knows what that is.
I remember them, and there was the Dream Bar as well. The Dream Bar was but it was a Cadbury's white chocolate bar. Nestle, this is actually this year the second chocolate bar that Nestle have discontinued, but they're the first one they discontinued went without a peep. Do you remember the Animal Bar? They were like a small, long
biscuit.
Chocolate. No, they were a small, flat piece of chocolate, and then printed on the chocolate bar, there was like an animal picture on there, and then there'd be a different animal picture on the outside of each one.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember them.
Again, childhood. You used to get them when you were a kid. They've been discontinued, but they were very quietly discontinued. This is the second chocolate bar Nestle have discontinued, which makes people believe that Nestle are planning to create a brand new chocolate bar.
Also, they're not allowed to advertise to kids anymore, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, true. Freddo bars are more kind of... You'd only buy Freddo when you were a child, didn't you? Because they used to be cheap, 10p. Freddo bars are still about. So, but is there any chocolate bars or any sweets that have been discontinued and you miss?
No, I remember when Walnut Whip came back. I never knew what that was, and that was nice. But
My dad loved
I was never around to miss it, but...
Whispers, they went and then came back again.
That's what I mean. So this is all just publicity done. I feel Karamak will go and come back again. Why is it always the white chocolate ones that go?
Well, Karamak's more kind of caramel.
Yeah, but they're the two.
Because Milky Bar, let's say you already have a white chocolate, it's called Milky Bar.
Milky Bar Kid.
Yes. I used to look like the Milky Bar Kid because I used to have really blonde hair when I was a kid.
Too much milk. He was very milky, wasn't
he? He wasn't milky. He was just a very white child.
He had like white pale skin, white pale hair, white outfit.
He had yellow hair. He had little round glasses. He wore a cowboy outfit.
Yeah, but it was white.
The Milky Bar Kid is strong and tough, and only the best is good enough. The creamiest milk, the whitest bar.
He looks like he would smell stale milk. really, doesn't it?
He probably does smell of stale milk because all he eats is Milky Bar. For goodness sake. There's loads of things that I miss that I like. They don't make anymore.
What?
And that's the thing. I can't think of a single one now. This is really annoying. I should have written them down when I thought of them earlier.
DVDs.
I really miss DVDs. There's knickknacks don't taste the same anymore. There's that. Like a lot of food doesn't taste the same anymore. So like knickknacks, nice and spicy. You could get one knick-knack. My mouth's watering. Think about it. You could get one knick-knack, nice and spicy. Literally put it in your mouth, suck on it for about 5 hours, and it would still have its flavour.
That reminds me of those UFO spaceship foam. Oh, it's like sugar in the middle.
Yeah. Sherbet. No, there's sherbet in the middle. Yes,
all those things called what they nerds. They're like little.
I never used to like them either. I used to always be a chocolate child, less of a sweet child. Like I used to like. You can still get these, but choc dips. So it was like one side had these little breadsticks, and then the other side had a pot of like melted chocolate, and you dip. No, it wasn't. It was damn good. They were really nice. And then when you finished with all the breadsticks, you get your finger and you wipe it out. And lush. They were made by KP, I think. They're still being made though.
Sounds gross.
No, they were lovely.
Are you gonna go buy Camac then?
No, they just eat it.
Oh, they're not vegan. Oh, I'll buy one then.
You can buy one. Bring one on. I say I'll buy you one if you want. You can try it on the show next week.
Okay.
Should have done that. Missed trick. Oh well. Next week, tune in for Ben eating a Caramac live on the show. Before we go, we were going to do a section about local newspapers and local news, like pages in the UK or around the world. Because there was something on TikTok that I found which just basically cracked me up. Hopefully, we'll have time next week to talk about it. But if there's any kind of local news articles that you have, like dog farted near me or something like that, they're always really ridiculous, and they always have really good like compo faces of the person kind of sitting there looking really angry.
There's a Reddit page for compo faces I follow.
But then you need to point me in that direction. But if you find any, photograph them, send them to us, and we'd love to talk about them because we wanted to start a section about local news because I think local news is underrated. And also we need to support our local newspapers because it's too not overcomplicated, kind of overrun now by national news.
Yeah,
we forget about like what's happening on the Isle of Wight. What the pensioners done this week? I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So you can send them to us at email, commentbelowpod@gmail.com. You can find us on the social site formerly known as Twitter @commentbelow, on Instagram @commentbelow_pod. As I say, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to follow, subscribe, ring the bell for all notifications when new episodes come out. You can also listen to us on any of your favourite podcast apps. And if you enjoy listening to us, don't forget to review, give us 5 stars, and comment below why you've given us those 5 stars. And again, if you want to help fund the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful.
That's correct. And before we go, we've got time to quickly scroll through Facebook and find a Facebook mum post of the week. I didn't have one prepared, but luckily there's always one somewhere on the timeline. So this is the wise words. So you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Has my mouth gotten me in trouble? Yep. Has it pissed people off? Yeah. Am I going to stop speaking my mind? Not a fucking chance. Bit aggressive this week, but it'll get you through to the podcast next week.
I think that could just be summed up by live by the sword, die by the sword.
Why not?
4 mums.
So there you go. We'll see you next week for another episode. Goodbye.